You're listening to the Detroit is Different podcast network.
She's standing and staring tonight. Her two black pearls are looking back at her. The mirror is hers tonight, not her mother's. All the voices telling her to get out the way, step to the side, gone now. The pretty black knight bows to her black genius. All her wings are out now. Levitation, levitation. Black-eyed Susans, black-eyed Shakira. Gone, black girl, levitate.
Black girl genius, frontin' like they don't see us. We shine bright, never dim my lights. We shine bright, never dim my lights. We shine bright, never dim my lights.
Welcome back to the Piper Carter podcast. You are listening to Piper Carter. And once again, we're back with some wonderful, exciting news and updates and a really great interview that I'm very excited about. But first, I would like to bring in our co-host for the show. So what's up, Brittany?
What up, though, Pipe? How are you? How was your week?
Great. Thank you so much. And Jaira?
Hey, everyone.
Okay. Deja, how you doing? You there, Deja? Okay, Deja needs a minute. And then we'll bring in... Oh, you there, Deja?
Yeah, I didn't realize I was on mute. I'm so sorry. I'm good.
Oh,
how are
okay.
you guys?
Oh, good.
What's up, Deja?
Yeah.
What up?
And then our illustrious guest, Dr. Ruth Nicole Brown. Welcome, Dr. Brown.
I too had to get off mute. Hi, everybody. So good to be here with you all. Thanks for having me.
So
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, before we get into your full bio, I definitely just want to let folks know that if you are listening, just Google Dr. Ruth Nicole Brown. You will find all types of wonderful information on her, and we're going to get into her really exciting story and updates, because I'm very excited about all the work that she's doing, and I'm excited for her to share with us. So with that, I definitely just want to start with what's going on with everyone this week. So why don't we start with you, Dr. Brown? How has your week been, like this past week?
This past week has been exhilarating, full. I am doing well. The family is good. I'm a mom of 4, and they keep me busy. So we've been doing the online school thing, was last week, as it always is. But because the weather was breaking, we were able to go for a walk, and my daughter, who's 5, was like, the sky is purple. She's like, maybe it's purple lasers. And so that was fun. And then my colleague here at Michigan State, Dr. Christy Dotson, told me that purple is the first color of spring. So yeah, that's where I am, thinking about purple lasers in the sky and what's blooming.
Beauty.
All right.
Yep.
What about you, Deja? How's your week been?
My week has been pretty good. I'm looking for a new job, and I got accepted to one already. I'm just not sure if I'm gonna take it because they don't have benefits, and I need benefits. I'm getting old.
Aren't you a Gen Z?
Well, I'm about to be 25 in like a month and a half, and I can't be on my mom's stuff anymore. I gotta grow up, so I gotta find a real good job.
Okay,
until I can become, my own brand and not have to be employed by anyone. This is how I gotta do it.
Okay, so that's going in the universe, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. And what about you, Brittany? What's your week been like with the Negro specialty pizza?
It's been good. Like twice a week, I try to go in the area that like a Kibalan village is in. and like just introduce myself to all the other businesses. And it's just crazy that like the East Side is so kind of quiet when it comes to like talking and advertising themselves, but there are like so many Black owned businesses on Harper alone. It just be like, wow, walking in and like being like humbled by it. Like, of course, like beauty shops, barber shops, like 3 or 4 Black owned car washes, tax revenue places, like an upholstery shop, like all these different businesses like that have been there for like years and years. You know what I mean? So it's been going good. I think it's important that I rely on the community to eat the pizza and like the pizza, because I, you know, with the social media thing, how I feel about it, I want to be more word of mouth, and it's been going okay, you know, but I know it'll be going better when I see more people from the community and them coming, you know, reoccurring. You know what I mean? So, but it's been going well.
Okay, that's what's up. Man, that's a good week. You know what I'm gonna do? Since we're talking about the week, I just want to share for y'all what this next week is gonna be like, you know, astrologically.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll just do the astrology report and knock that out. So we're about to be in a new month, right? We're in a new month coming up in a couple hours. And so we're including a new week, we're in this new month. And so we know that a new month is going to bring us like a new vibration, right? So that's really exciting. And the stuff that y'all have shared, it inspired me to just share this because it's kind of like super in a line. We know that like this month of March, we have no major planets in retrograde. And that's significant because we just came out of a bunch of different, you know, retrogrades and everything. So we only have forward moving energy, right? Like all through the rest of the month. So that means that March is a really good time to get motivated, and we have a lot of support from the universe to get away from our past and to cross things off our to-do list. So, and whenever, you know, we have planets that have been in retrograde, you know, we know that that's always a time, or, you know, where there's a need for reflection and pause, you know, and like to step back. And so this week it's going to be, you know, thinking about how can we activate these moments of joy and excitement, right? In order to feel encouraged. And we want to take that leap of faith and push forward. And so this week there's a lot of energy supporting us to speak our truth, ask for help, stating what we really want. This week is for us to activate, you know, our throat chakras and speak whatever we want into existence, to share our ideas, to share our feelings. It's a perfect energy to write a book or start journaling. And, you know, March has a lot of strength. And so Mars is the planet of action and motivation. And it's going to be active for us all through the month. So go ahead and affirm for yourself that it's safe to communicate your heart's desires and what you really want out of life and the world around us. So that's my astrology report for this week.
Love to hear about the planets and where they are.
Yeah. So, I'm wondering, I mean, I was going to ask if any of that resonates for anyone. It sounds like it does a little bit. I don't know. What do you think, Dr. Ruth?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. I was yes, all of that. Did a nice sound bath meditation last night, focused on the throat chakra. So I didn't know that, but I'm glad to hear it because I have some things that I do need to say, and we'll certainly call on my guys this week to do that.
Oh wow, that's powerful. we gotta
Right.
teach about that sound bath meditation.
It was on YouTube. I just look them up on YouTube. I try to find a trusted person that resonates. I use social media, and this one that I found was sound good to me. So it was nice. Let me see if I can find it.
So Deja, it sounds like this is your week.
Definitely. I actually got the confirmation email from the job earlier today, but I also think we were just in didn't a full moon just happen, or moon was in Virgo or something?
Yeah.
I saw someone an astrologer page that I follow on Instagram also mentioned that now is the time for like new beginnings and releasing old patterns and literally everything you just said, Piper. So yeah, I'm excited and I resonate with that.
All right. What about you, Britt?
I definitely find some ways where it resonates. Like I said, it's always cool to hear about where the planets are. And yeah, I always, I feel like this year has been interesting already, but I'm ready as well.
Okay. And what about you, Jaira? You ready?
Yeah. I mean, what you said is very relatable to me as well, because I have a lot going on as far as what I want to do in my life, and have a lot of opportunities, but yet have to make the right decision to not make it all go down in the wrong path.
Oh man, so tell us about what's going on with you.
No, I'm just in a state where I want to do software engineering, but a lot of things are getting in the way of that, and kind of just scared to make a big decision that might jeopardize my chances of getting into that career.
Like what? Like what would jeopardize you getting into that?
Just taking a wrong turn that will deter me. So there were different
You don't mean like smoking crack, do you?
No. No.
Okay, that's good.
Sir, you can always get back. You can do whatever. Everybody wears like a million hats now. You don't have to feel discouraged, even if you do go down a path that isn't what you expected it to be. You're brilliant. You can figure it out.
Yeah, I understand, but it's just I have a set something set in my head. Yeah, I have a vision for it. So like so being a software engineer is just something that's like a dream for me. So I really want that dream to come to life. And I mean things are lining up, but I just don't know which road to take. It's either I had a decision whether to go to the Air Force or not, but I'm not sure if that's a good decision right now, or just go to school and do a bunch of internships or entry-level jobs, because I'm trying to find a new job as well. So
what type of job you trying to find, Jaira?
In software engineering, like an entry level.
Like entry level. So this is the time to like write that down and like put that in the universe. You know what I'm gonna tell you about the Air Force though. You already know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna, I would just keep it put a pause right there. But I would say, like software engineering, like that right now is like wide open, bro. Like everybody needs you. So
that's so true.
Everybody needs you. So that's a good thing. It's not like, refrigerator repair. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Jaira, you're in a really cool place. Like, I think instead of looking at it like you don't know which way to go, look at it as like you have several different ways you can go. Like you're like Deja said, you're super talented. Like
that.
You know what I mean? You're super talented, so you have the leverage in the situation. Like when you have several gifts, like you have to embrace them. You know what I mean? And like Deja said too, like I'm not saying don't think, I'm not saying don't have a plan or be strategic, but you also have options, so be happy about that. Like enjoy that. Don't be cocky or arrogant about it, but definitely embrace it more. Like not everybody has all that.
Yeah, you're learning. You got plenty of life ahead of you. Follow yourself.
Hey,
yeah. You can never let you down for sure.
Look at these stages. You see what I'm surrounded by, Dr. Ruth?
Yeah, I love it. Yes, I do love it. And I, remember when, and I think back, like, I mean, at 25, man, it's like, had so much vision, so much uncertainty, but like, so glad that I stayed with what I knew that was true to me.
Mhm.
And it has unfolded beautifully. I mean, even, it's like the ego tripping. Like, even so, I'm so hip, even my errors are correct. Like, even the wrong turns, when I look back, have led me to exactly where I'm supposed to be.
That's real.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, it's so real. Like, yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
like you can have like different routes. Like, they're different routes, but it's like you're gonna go to the same place. You have to automatically believe, like she just said, like your destiny is already fate. It's already been cemented. How you get there is just how you get there. You know what I mean? You have to be vulnerable with that. That's okay.
Mm.
Wow. How you feel, Jaira? All this love.
I feel yes, it's very like good to hear all of the different opinions that you ladies have to say. And it helps because I've been talking to a lot of people about it, just trying to make sure I make the right decision. Due to my past, I've made a lot of spontaneous decisions that wouldn't have made me been in the situation I'm in now that much, but I kind of don't regret it because I know more information just from making that mistake. So
Right.
I tried to just I tried to just be more cautious and more specific in a way with what I decide on doing, so that I don't make so I don't make the wrong mistake like I did last time.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up. But don't go in the Air Force.
Okay.
We need you on the side of the Jedi. That's all. Whatever you do.
No, it was just a decision. I wasn't saying I was going to go. It was just like an option.
Okay, cross that one off.
Okay.
Stay home.
Yeah, silly.
No, but thank you, Jared. Thanks for being vulnerable and sharing yourself. That's what's up. We appreciate you.
Anytime.
Yeah. So, what you got, Deja? Well, you know what? Let's save yours because yours kind of juicy. What you got?
Well, just a few things, but I don't know much about it. But did you guys see that Facebook was coming up with a site called Bars for rappers?
Hell no.
No.
Y'all got to Google that real quick, please. I know I'm not tripping. Facebook. Let's see.
What is it? Is it like Rap Genius?
Well, it like will let you. It's like TikTok for rappers. Like, basically people putting themselves on, like on their rapping, and then I think you can put your lyrics next to it too, and then it tells like the people like your name, who's rapping, and then if it's a beat, it also drops the tag of the producer or the beat that they was rapping over. Yeah, it's called Bars, all capital letters. And about a day ago, it started kind of catching on online. So I think that's interesting, because last week we were talking about Facebook was gonna go away. So I think the original version of Facebook will probably go away. I would say probably in the next 2 years. But it's interesting that with like Clubhouse and TikTok, it's just interesting to see Facebook try to evolve itself. And I wonder what this will do. Like, I wonder if people think this is corny or not. Like, is this going to be gimmicky?
People think it's corny, but
yeah.
But some of the corny stuff is the stuff that blows up.
That's true too.
I mean, they just making money off of it. Like, I'm reading, you told me to go, it says where people can watch it and mark it as quote unquote fire.
Yeah, like
It's
somebody
lit.
else is getting, like, you're making free content. Like, artists are making free content for Facebook. Like, that's
Oh,
not the
I am
way.
Right.
so old
Right.
hip
That's
hop
so true.
game. Woo, here we are, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, no, we pimping ourselves out. No.
Yeah, we do definitely need to start protecting hip hop way more. Like, we are tripping. Like, you old heads even will say, like, even like old heads, like 80s rappers will say, like, oh, white people know more about the culture and hip hop than we do. And it's kind of true. Like, we gotta definitely educate these kids more, like kind of force it down their throats of the history of hip hop. Cause I don't know. It's kind of scary how they're like diluting it.
It does seem like it's like a video game option, which for younger people, this might be the way that they practice or learn or know what a cipher
So
is.
is it like karaoke?
Yeah, well, at least for my imagination, interpretation, reading this.
Mhm.
I don't know.
You know what's funny? There's this guy, I think I told y'all this story before, but I'm gonna tell you, Dr. Brown. So about maybe what was it? Maybe like 2015, 2014, like around thereabouts. There was about 2014. There was this young white kid, and actually no, it was like 2013. And he hit me up, and he was a young guy, like 25. And he was like, hey, I was told to contact you to, like, I'm starting this platform, and it's for rappers. And basically, I think it was called like RAPT.FM, right? And so basically it was for like rappers to like upload, or like people to upload themselves rapping like on this platform, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, he had gotten $100,000 investment.
Wow.
From Dan Gilbert, because he had joined the Bizdom, like the part where Dan Gilbert invests in companies. And then he got like it was like a 3-year contract basically, where you get a free place to live for like 3 years.
Okay.
And so it's either you could either rent to own, or you could just rent. And then or with the option, you get the option to buy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so basically what it was Dan Gilbert had invested in these different companies. So he invested in his company, and he could use any of Dan Gilbert's properties to like do these freestyle ciphers that he was organizing, like in person.
Okay.
And so basically he had like 3 years for the company to become like liquid or successful or whatever, make money.
Mm-hmm.
And so in that 3 years, he had, a developer, like all the investment perks, everything you need, for your business. And what was so funny, when he came to me, he wanted me to introduce him to all the different, top MCs to come to his cipher, right?
Yeah.
Now he had some other people that had already agreed to like be down with him.
Okay.
And so it had this look like it was real, legitimate. And plus he had the money, so he was able to pay a graphic designer, and his logo and everything looked like, the Run DMC shirts.
Yep.
Yeah. And so it looked super legit. It looked like, and then he had done like a couple of things. He had Dan Gilbert behind him, so he was able to put partnership with MTV and stuff like that on there. So people were like, oh yeah, but he wasn't paying anybody any money.
Oh.
And so he just wanted to like just build up this platform, and everybody was like all about this platform. And it was funny, I took a few meetings with him, and then I asked him like, okay, what do the artists get?
Yeah.
And he just kept talking to me about exposure.
Oh.
And I was like, bro, it looks like it's not that much exposure. Like,
right.
going on your socials, you don't have that much exposure. You don't have any more exposure than the artists do.
Right.
And yeah, okay. I said, I see this MTV, this and that and that. I said, but I ain't seen nobody on MTV from your platform. I ain't seen MTV talk about your platform. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, how does this work? And it was just funny. Like the dude basically was he took me to some nice, fancy, building and was trying to treat me to lunch and all this. I said, bro, I'm from the industry. Like, I ain't impressed by,
a nice meal.
Like a nice meal. I'm like, let's get to the business. And it was just funny. And he gave me that talk about Detroit rappers, need an outlet. And he's going to be the outlet and nobody's investing in them. He's the only one. And this is their choice and blah, blah, blah.
What is this cat's name?
Say that again.
What's this cat's name?
Oh, man. You want me to do that on a podcast? I guess it's Eric Torkenberg. And so it's so funny because like he kept telling me, oh, how just trying to, this how the artists win, blah blah. I said, bro, you don't have no money, like you don't even have like $100, like gas money, what I'm saying, like a meal, you know what I'm saying,
exactly. Like you asking them to go out of their way for your platform.
Yeah, and he just was talking to me about these benefits, and I was like, I really don't see the benefits for the artists, but it's just interesting. So I see that, and that was what 2013. So it sounds exactly like this bars thing. Pretty much.
You see,
and there was people uploading, and when you went on to the ads and all the social media showed, the marketing showed like he was in these buildings and he had these Detroit rappers that are well known, like in these ciphers, and they had the ciphers were full because of course if you say something is for MTV, everybody's showing up,
right?
But then when you went on to the actual platform, it was all these like 11 and 12-year-old white kids calling each other the B word and the N word and all that raps. Like, I was like, what on earth is this? They were in their bedroom just like uploading all these freestyles, and all these raps and stuff, and they were terrible. It was just like, wow. So anyway, I just told that long drawn out story to say like that's what that platform kind of reminds me of, that kind of, that
vulture.
Kind of, yeah, vulture.
Content vulture.
Yeah. So I don't know. What Brittany, so do you have to pay, or is it free, or what is it?
It seems like it's free. I just, to be honest with you, wasn't the core of what I wanted to talk about, but I saw it, and with all of us being music heads, wanted to just bring it up. Taking a look through it, and like I said, I think it's free. So and honestly, it's to be in competition with TikTok. They keep mentioning TikTok throughout this whole article. So yeah.
Well, Facebook owns Instagram, but I guess they do need their own little something for Facebook too.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, and that's, to me, that's a real, it's pretty intricate. It's not like it's not a massive idea. Like it's kind of like zoned in to rappers. The fact that it's called bars, like that's, to me, a kind of, like that's interesting, right? Usually they do things that's really encompassing, community, which this is a community, but it's real, it's about rap. Which is wild to me. So,
man, rappers, what do the rappers on there look like?
Well, I see, I don't know, no disrespect to the rapper Nav. Like he's this guy that like, Deja, do you know who that is?
Kind of.
He's like this Indian rapper, but like everyone likes him, but this guy that's on the marketing for this bars is like he's not necessarily Indian. He looks like he could also be of Hispanic descent as well, but he doesn't look like who I would put on the poster for being a rapper. I'll just say that. But we'll see.
Wow. Facebook. I guess you think that was their diversity and inclusion team in on that?
It wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me at all. But really quickly, in other news, the WNBA doesn't have like an updated schedule. A lot of things have been going on. Like last year, I think I told you guys they did a bubble similar to the NBA, and it was very, very successful. The women played very well. They'd had no COVID cases, just like the NBA bubble. And it was, just in general, good basketball. But while they were in the bubble, there was a lot of things going on with them leading the way with, social justice activism. They got a lot of spotlight over the summer during the protest, and, a lot of different things. A lot of different players were vocal. However, their old owner, who is a senator, I don't know if you guys heard, she made some comments that the team didn't agree with, and made a lot of like headlining news. And her name is Kelly Loeffler. And basically the team used their power to vote in the new senator. Like they did a lot of activism around like voter registration. They wore a lot of t-shirts, the NBA players, were wearing the, different slogans on the back of their jerseys. And then the Atlanta Dream kind of led the way with the WNBA of, the Atlanta Senate. And so they were, with their help, they had a huge contribution to, the good things that went on politically in Atlanta. And so the other thing that they were able to also do were to get the Atlanta Dreams board to get the Lady Kelly Loeffler off, from owning the team. So just this week, it was announced that they got new ownership. Their situation was similar. Do you guys remember what happened to the Clippers? How their owner was caught saying all those like racist comments like a few years ago? Wait, what? Okay, like the story where like the guy is like talking to the owner is like this 80-year-old white guy, right? And he's like on this voice recording talking to his like 25-year-old like half Asian girlfriend.
Yeah,
and it's telling, oh yeah. And
Yeah.
he's like calling Magic Johnson like the N-word, like really just like going in on Magic Johnson and like him having AIDS, like just all kind of racist things. And then of course, like when the NBA got a hold of it, like the Clippers, said they wouldn't play unless like he, was removed from ownership. And then his ex-wife ended up owning the team. So similar to that situation, the Atlanta Dream not only were able to get new ownership, but they were able to help, bring in new players politically down in Atlanta. So I thought that's huge for the WNBA, along with them, kind of raising their price cap a little bit. Nothing much. Like Candace Parker just got traded to Chicago, where she's from LA Sparks. She's been playing with the LA Sparks since 2008. And her salary is $215,000, I think, with that deal, which is kind of like what like a third round rookie would make in the NBA, probably more than that. So there's still a lot of work to do with that. And I think it starts with me, even as a former athlete, just watching women's basketball and supporting it more. Moving to the NBA, a lot of great basketball going on right now in the NBA. A lot of trades. It's back kind of like balance between the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, with Kyrie, KD, and James Harden playing for the Brooklyn Nets, which is funny because the Brooklyn Nets are better than the Knicks, which who would have thought of that? And then you have the Lakers, who are still playing really strong. And then you have the Ball brothers that are playing extremely well. One plays on the East and one plays on the West. One plays for Charlotte, one plays for New Orleans. And with that being said, we're talking about Atlanta. The All-Star weekend is in Atlanta this upcoming weekend, which is kind of controversial just because COVID is still here. But as you guys know, Atlanta, Miami, and Vegas are the spots where when people want to get away right now during COVID, that's where everyone's flying to. And so the NBA having it there is weird, but we all understand capitalism. And they're asking the citizens of Atlanta and people not to fly into Atlanta to be a part of the festivities that will be going on around it, which is like not going to happen because people are still flying to Atlanta now and there's not even an All-Star game going on. So all my social people out there, if you plan on going to Atlanta, please be careful, please be safe, use your brain. Keep it PG-13, at least for COVID. And that's all I have.
I mean, that was so much. I wonder, Dr. Brown, did you have any reactions to any of those reports that Brittany gave?
Uh, no, not really. I'm like, I haven't followed basketball in a minute, but yes, always to the WNBA. I mean, I just started thinking about the games that I used to go to, and I got lost in those memories. Such events, and yeah, they need to be paid more. That's what I'm thinking about.
I know, right? Are you from Chicago, or you were just in Chicago for work? I can't remember that part.
So I grew up in the south suburbs of Chicago. I was born in Chicago Heights. I grew up in Park Forest, Illinois. But I like to let folks know that my people migrated in the 40s from Kentucky to Chicago Heights. And so the steel factories drew my family there. So yeah, we that's where we both sides of my family migrated from Kentucky right to Chicago Heights, and we still there.
Nice.
That's beautiful. I'm like, wow, yeah. So I remember we talked a little bit, like, I don't know, it was some months ago now, when the women were what did they receive? They received some award or something, remember?
I believe so, but I can't really remember the award.
Yeah, I don't remember what award it was. I remember they received an award for their contribution, like, to the voter registration efforts and all that. So that's what's up. You know, shouts out to the WNBA. Okay, so where can we check, you know, their games, and when does it start?
In all honesty, they haven't released their schedule yet. They're still trying to figure out things per COVID, right? So they don't know if they're going to do another bubble, or if they're going to have the means to do what the NBA is doing, which is just going back to normal in so many words. So they're just trying to figure it out, which is interesting. Their season usually starts in June, but I'm guessing it may start probably, if not around the same time, probably a little bit earlier.
Okay, cool. All right, so keep us updated, and we'll do a better job of keeping up with the ladies.
Me as well.
Yeah, that's what's up. So, Deja, tell us about what you wanted to share.
Well, news today said that I believe her name is Elisa Muhammad. Malcolm X's daughter is opening an investigation into his assassination because there was a police officer that was, I believe, let me go to the article just so I'm not guessing, but this officer was on his deathbed, and he basically said that FBI and the police department, the New York Police Department, conspired against Malcolm X, and they had him killed. He said this on his deathbed, which Lisa and her family were already kind of thinking, or I'm sorry, Lisa Shabazz, I called her Muhammad earlier. Lisa Shabazz, she said that she feels like it was an assassination per what her family already believed, and she just wanted to open it again to further show how the government infiltrates Black organizations, and how they especially did during the civil rights movement. So I thought that was interesting. I'm going to keep my eyes on that because I'm interested in as well.
It's crazy to me. Like, that's
what
wild.
was that movie that just came out? We just talked about it. Brittany.
Yeah, the Messiah and the
Judas
Black
and
Judah.
Yeah.
Like, how?
Even the Malcolm X one. Remember the Malcolm X one? Who killed Malcolm X? That's still on Netflix.
Yeah.
Did y'all see that one? Did y'all see that one?
I don't think so.
Oh my God, let's see it. It's a series. It's amazing. That's your homework.
Okay.
I think that's, you know how like the R. Kelly bust open because of the Lifetime. I think because they had so much data, that's why they're able now. Because I mean, there's been so much data over the years. It's like, it's weird. I don't want to say it's weird, but it's like they could have been going after this years ago, because they been had this stuff. I mean, I guess maybe the smoking gun was just released.
Right. That's what
I'm
I
not
think
sure.
too. Because this information isn't new. And we all knew that he was.
Yeah, it's not
You
new,
know,
but if anything, this is starting to get disrespectful. Like, how is the CIA? I'm so scared of the CIA and the FBI at this point. Like, yeah, it's been public information, but the fact that there are all these documentaries and we still ain't got no reparations, man, we can get reparations alone off the freaking Black Panther story. That is wild to me. It's so disrespectful.
Yeah, it's so much to say about that. I don't know. Like, do you have anything, Dr. Ruth? You there, Dr. Ruth?
I'm here. I had to get my daughter was knocking on the door.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, mommy, where are you? I'm here. So yeah, no, absolutely. I think, what's not lost on me is the daughter's search for justice in the way that she sees it, in the way that we all understand it as Black folks who've seen this several times over. But I just, I'm thinking about her and her, the resolve that has to be there to be able to continue this, because we know what it is, right? I mean, and through the system at that. So yeah, peace to her. This is also Savior's Day weekend, if I'm correct. I think so.
Yes.
So yeah, and right, the February 21st date. I mean, here we are. We it's like the palimpsest of history keeps going. It's here again and it's ongoing. But for that daughter to do her best by her father is what I don't want lost in in the iconicity of it all.
yes.
Yeah, I appreciate that perspective. Man, that's so much. Like, to have to just relive some of that, or even relearn some of that. But
Right.
I think
Yep.
it must also be pretty, like you said, I don't want to say satisfactory, but there must be some level of like, see, I told y'all. I really hope that she does receive some fair level of justice.
I hope so too.
Yes.
Wow, that's a lot, man.
Yep.
The age of Aquarius.
The age of Aquarius, bringing in all this truth with a sword.
Yeah.
Right.
You feel me? It's real.
Yeah. Well, this has been great. So Dr. Ruth, I want to get like into you, into your story, into what you're doing. So just briefly, I know that you have, shifted and you moved to Michigan. You have a new position now. But can you just give us an understanding of like your current position and what you do now?
Sure. Currently, I am the inaugural chairperson and professor of African American and African Studies at Michigan State University. And so what I do now is work alongside Dr. Tamora Lomax, and who is also, she was hired at the same time as I was to newly build the department, alongside Dr. Christy Dotson, who's our executive advisor, and Dr. April Baker Bell. And we are AAAS is what we call it, and it was a program that is now since transitioned into a department. So we are building this thing, doing the dream and working together. That's what I'm up to these days.
Wow, that's huge.
That's so cool.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
I could say so much about how much that's needed at Michigan State, but I want to keep it centered on I want to keep it centered on your story.
Tell me what you know.
Yeah,
we be talking.
Yeah, my goodness, like my stepdaughter is there. She's what is she, a sophomore? And I know she loves it. And I just appreciate that there's people like you and your department and all those people that are working on this that
Yes.
are actively and intentionally doing this work. Like this is so needed. And Age of Aquarius, shouts out to the Age of Aquarius. This is beautiful.
I'm writing that down. Thank you. I look forward to meeting her. Send her my way sometime soon.
Oh yeah. And so thank you for having us understand what your position is, and then help us understand, you know, the position that you came from.
So I was an associate professor of gender and women's studies and education policy, education and leadership at the University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana for the last 15 years before I came here. And that's the position that I held. I always say that, you know, my life's work is the work of SOLHOT, saving our lives here, our truths. And SOLHOT is what I created in 2006. And we say to celebrate Black girlhood and all of our complexity. And that's my life's work. That SOLHOT motivated me in so many ways to seek this current position. Because of the work we were doing, and then just from being in regular conversation with Black girls. And so that's not necessarily like a position, but it is my life's work.
Okay. And so now your what I would say, your trajectory has led you, like, you've written books. You like you said, you have a whole other part of yourself where you're co-creating music with other women, and you also hold this academic space. And before we go into that other stuff, I want to understand, how did you, like, what led you on your path to find this space where you have been occupying, like, oh, I could be a hip hop scholar, I can, like, how did you get there?
Oh my goodness, so many things had to happen, Piper. I mean, right, we would have met before this for me to be here. So many things, so many influence, so many motivations. I can go back to Chicago Heights. I mean, where I'm from, that place grew me. And we talk about, like, I grew up in the Black community. Black Chicago Heights is a real thing with a vibrant social life. And I grew up in the Black Baptist church, and which necessarily meant for me that among many things, I saw Black women creating community from a very young age, and have always been a part of it. And I knew then that, like, I had power to create, to bring people together, because I saw Black women do that on the daily. The Black women in my family, I talk about that migration from Kentucky to Chicago Heights because it's really important to me. The name before that was Cary, and Cary girls, I wrote an essay about it. I always say Cary girls give differently. And so their appreciation for the human, I've learned and carried with me. There are a lot of things that allow me to be who I am today. I'm also the last child. I'm a baby girl in my family and the first generation college student. So that meant, you know, my older brother and sister was not, I did not grow up in a house where I was expected to go to college. And so they did a lot of things so I could be able to be the one to go to college. And my mom, she reads more books than anybody I know. And I think she enjoyed college. She always enjoyed every academic experience right alongside me. And my dad, you know, worked the night shift. I wrote this poem a long time ago about his sacrifice to be able to support my intellectual and academic dreams. So those are just, I mean, the earliest maybe influences, but there are so many more, including, you know, the return back to Michigan, because I went to grad school at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. And so I knew something about not necessarily Lansing, actually. This is my first time to Lansing, but certainly the connections made in Detroit, knowing the work that, that I was able to be a part of when I was a graduate student also compelled a return that made it, like, okay, I got to see what this is about, because I know the power here. I know the brilliance here. I know the funk is here. So I'm always into that,
And Malcolm X is from Lansing.
Yeah, right? I mean, look, palimpsest. Yes, these things keep repeating over and over. Like, I mean, it's not linear. I'm still thinking about, is it Gyra? The question earlier on the call. Did I mispronounce your name? I'm so sorry. How do you say it correctly?
It's Gyra.
Gyra. Okay, I was there. Yeah, like that question was so deep to me. Because it's not like a linear thing, life happens and life happens and life continues to happen. And then you will be in places that you don't know why, but maybe history knows why, the universe knows why, so yeah, all of that's connected.
And what's interesting, when I met you, we had, you were presenting at, I'm trying to think of the name of the conference, but it was the Hip Hop Scholars Conference at
Chicago?
Ohio State.
Oh, at Ohio State, yes. Mm-hmm. That's Dr. Elaine Richardson's Hip Hop Literacies.
Yes, Dr. E.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought the women there. That was the first time we encountered you. But before we actually met you, the reason we wanted to go to the conference anyway, but we were hyped up because before that, we had been introduced to your book. So for us, we knew you as this author, that we had read and we were studying and that we loved. And for me at that point, you literally opened me up to this world of like, oh, you could like live your hip hop like for real as an adult. And I'm not saying like this is the way to do it, but you had kind of shown me a path through just reading your book and at the time that we encountered your book, it was at that kind of turning moment where there were more people starting to have books, because before that we had Bell Hooks and it was Trisha Rose, and it was just a few, you know what I mean? And so when your book came, it was like this kind of, I don't want to say explosion, because now there's like more of an explosion, but I feel like you kind of ushered in the explosion. You know what I mean?
Look, that's so major coming from you. That is so major, Piper. That book, Black Girlhood Celebration, was a labor of love. So I say in 2006, I was creating SOLHOT, Saving Our Lives, Hear Our Truths. And I wanted a space where Black girls could enjoy the celebration. I mean, a lot of this grew out of my dissertation research and academic research. And there was not a lot of place that I did research on girl empowerment programs. And the thing that I learned was that in spaces where all girls, where the goal was celebration and empowerment, the more Black girls demonstrated the very measures of success by the program's own standards, like coming to voice, being a decision-making, demonstrating leadership, Black girls got in trouble for doing that. And I was like, and there ought to be a space where that's just not the case. And to the credit of those who were organizing that particular program, they said, well, fairly, can you point me to something better? And this was 2006. It was not, honestly, a lot of things going on that I could earnestly point to them and say, take a look at this. So I was like, you know what? I know some really dope women, and we could do this thing. And we started in Champaign, Urbana, right? We started right where we were. And I just follow like dope artists, dope Black women, and I would like sell them on this dream. Like I would be like, the revolution is going down and you want to be a part of it and we need you to be a part of it. And they'd be like, really, what's this revolution? And I was just like, how much time do you have? Do you believe in young people? What do you think about Black girls? And they was like, yeah, okay. And I said, okay, well, it's going down at the Boys and Girls Club. And they was like, what? That's not where they thought the revolution was going to pop off on Friday. But yet they came and the girls were already there, had been volunteering for, there for a year before we did the thing officially known as SOLHOT. But the people that I was working with at the time, it was hip hop, like the rituals that we created. SOLHOT was something that we created together, and the rituals, we started with the Bati dance, which is just another form of a cipher always. We started with the game, hip hop was a part of how we knew to express ourselves. And then there's this story that I always like to tell because it was defining in the start of SOLHOT where, I mispronounced a girl's name and she came back real quick and she was like, get it right, get it tight. And another of the volunteers, she was like, can't no girl be talking to you like that. And I was just like, why not? I was like, it's her name, of course. Okay, but this is when I stopped listening to hip hop on the radio by that point. So I was like, get it right, get it tight. Why she say it like that? I promise you, right after that SOHOT session, I get in the car. It's like, let me turn on the radio. Bubba Sparks. That's the song that plays right after I get in the car. Get it. And I was like, this is the lyric. That's what she told me. And so then it's like, all right, hip hop, here we go. Let's get into it. And that's kind of how that book emerged.
Wow. And I'm gonna tell you, that book for me, this is what drew me to it. I'm gonna be honest with you. So first, okay, I'll admit I wasn't like, what's the word? Like, I didn't find the book on my own,
Okay.
We have two professors, Dr. Kelly,
yes.
Dr. Rebecca Farugia, that were part of our collective that were studying us.
Yes.
And they are hip hop scholars.
Yes.
And they brought us the book because we were like, oh, we want to, because we was reading like, our, the Bell Hooks, the Trisha Rose, and so they was like, oh, do you know about Dr. Ruth Nicole Brown? And I was like, no. And they were like, oh my God, you got to know her. So I was like, okay. So she gave me the book and then was like, check this out. When I read the book, it reminded me of me. And I was like, oh my God, I'm one of these girls. Like, this is me. I could relate to that. And especially the part about I went to African Centered School. The African Centered School that I went to, among African Centered schools, it was like a privileged school, honestly. It was a private school. And so I was like, from the hood, single parent, that whole thing. And so when I was struggling a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like my thing was like, okay, you piss me off, I'm gonna punch you in your face type thing. So I was just like that kid that had to be brought into the culture, if you will. And so it was like, oh, okay, we do these healing circles here. We don't do all that punishment, throw you out, which I appreciate.
Yes.
But like the ways in which you were speaking about the child, like the issues that young Black girls face, and then how they are treated, and then some like how they should be treated. Like for me, I was like, oh, like I totally had those experiences because when I went to public school later, I was always getting in trouble. And I was getting in trouble because I had been nurtured to be a Black girl.
Right. Yep.
And that's literally what I was in trouble for.
Yep.
In hindsight.
Yep.
And so just being super straightforward, transparent, and honest, right? That would get you in big trouble. And so when I read about in your book, it just touched my soul to the point where I was like, wow, somebody like, I'm glad somebody like sees us, but like the next generation of us, like I hope as many people as possible can have access to this because it's powerful. And I just think it was really powerful. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I think I had a moment where I cried because it just touched me. Like, it touched a place real deep where I was like, that's me. So getting a chance to meet you at the conference, like, I was like, I mean, it was like really, by us having studied you and studied your book, it really just, I can't really put into words what it felt like, but it felt like, we was meeting Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh my goodness.
we were like, oh my God. And we were so giddy. We were running around the conference like, that's her, that's her, that's her.
Oh my God.
All groupie-ish, but then we was trying to act like we weren't.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So by the time when we were like, okay, we want to invite you to our conference, we were trying to think of like, who should we bring? And like all these, we had a list of all these names. And then we were like, we got to bring Dr. Brown. So, and then you came and did our conference and you were amazing. And you brought all your people.
Yeah. Yep.
I was like, wow. And okay, so tell us about your tribe.
My what?
Yeah, I called it your tribe.
Oh, okay. My
SOLHOT.
Yeah, and first of all, yeah, thanks, Rebecca and Kelly for handing that book to you. I mean, I just want to say too, with that book, I remember the process of it, and like for me, I mean, I guess I want to talk to the writers out there. Like I had to write that book. Like that book came out of that kind of energy where I didn't ask anybody's permission. We was doing SOLHOT and it was like we was doing a thing. Like it actually was a revolution. It was the erotic is power. It was, as Adrienne Marie Brown might say, the emergent strategy. Like we were doing all these things. Like it was amazing. And I was like, I have to write this down. I was literally writing Black Girlhood Celebration. We would do SOLHOT on a Friday from 3 to 6. And then because, when the work is so good, because you organize with people, Piper, this, like after the thing, you still talking about it. You got to debrief, you calling each other, you texting each other, like, you saw power move in ways that you didn't even know it was possible. So then you like, did you see that happen? And then people are feeling like, they sending poems through emails because they just can't let it go. And I couldn't either. I had my daughter was born the same year as SOLHOT. And so, yeah, we would do all the debriefing. I would put her to bed. And as soon as she went to bed, I was writing Black Girlhood Celebration. I wrote Black Girlhood Celebration after her bedtime for at least a year. And it was just to try to write down like how exciting this work was. And it was possible because I knew a few things. I knew hip hop, right? I knew about Black girlhood, which was what I wanted to honor, was your exact experience. Like, I don't want Black girls getting in trouble because they Black girls. Like, my whole thing was, after going through a PhD doctoral program as a political scientist, I know that sometimes the academic concept is extremely violent. And I did not want to think about Black girlhood as a concept in service to anybody's academic disciplinary formation. My whole thing was SOLHOT with Black Girlhood Celebration was like, nope, it's the Black feminist, we are inherently valuable thing. I want to understand, this is Black girlhood unto itself. How do we see each other? Because I don't want you to miss it. And so that's the kind of energy that book came out of. And then the tribe that is SOLHOT is, there's been so many people responsible for making the space of Black Girlhood Celebration over the last 16 years. It's a collective work. I knew it had to be, because the goal was so much bigger than any one person. And we did travel together to your amazing conference. I was in conversation with Aisha Durham, who, is still one of my most favorite writers ever. And I actually saw her present at a conference in New York. And I was like, I'm that kind of person where, like, I was like, you are the most brilliant thinker I ever heard. Like, I had to find her after the conference to tell her that. So I guess she was my Beyonce. If you say, like, that's how you felt at Dr. E's conference. I felt that about Aisha. And then I was like, we got to work together. She's like, I'm at the University of Illinois. And I was like, that's exactly where I'm going to be in the fall. And Aisha was a part of SOLHOT's very first year. When we came to present at your conference, Piper, I mean, I also feel like time had passed. And so then after getting to know you, and then if you remember, I came back for the Allied Media Conference, and it was like, I was chasing you. You was the Beyonce then. And I love, like, how time works in that way again. We just constantly meeting and re-meeting each other and constantly saying, no, you the dopest, you the dopest. How dope are you? Like, look at what you're doing. Look at what you're making, because it all aids, the fundamental work that we are all after. And so I was able to reconnect with a lot of folks. I got to shout out Invincible for sure. Shay, I was, just so affected by being able to come back. So yes, I appreciated the conference, but most importantly, and always, it was like the community we made.
Let me tell you what my favorite part is.
Yeah.
Well, I had so many favorite parts, first of all. But the thing that's always going to be, like, on my heart, and I'm a crier, so it did make me cry, was when you contacted me. I don't know, it was maybe a couple days or something after, and you told me how so we had brought Rhapsody.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And you told me how you and your daughter were able to attend the concert together. And how you appreciated being able to go to a concert with your daughter, and you felt safe and you felt like good, and y'all got to hang together. Like, that for me was like, oh, that's what this is about. And that y'all both liked Rhapsody. And then Rhapsody brought them on the stage.
She did. And shout out Mahogany too. I still have these photos on my Instagram. That night was transformative. Like, it was, it shifted so many things generationally. And, like, again, because time is not linear, I just remember all the dope concerts. Can I tell you all the dope concerts I enjoyed in Detroit, first of all? So then it's like, for my daughter to have a dope concert experience, and it be Rhapsody, and they get on stage, the mic is passed. Like, I'm so glad that she came up through that hip hop, not the soon to be app, version of hip hop. Oh my goodness. But Mahogany and Rhapsody, saw them. And I love that, because that's so much of how SOLHOT works. I'm reminded of Nikki Finney, who is a poet, and it's like, we aim to be candlelight in a spotlight era. Like, folks who refuse that spotlight, for the love of all Black people, for the love of Black women and girls, like, that's what that concert was. And so I'm always in awe. Like, we supposed to be, they refused that kind of celebrity that's like, I'm the one, which meant they automatically just stayed Black with it. Like, no, it's all of us. It's us all. It's you too. You with my daughter, who's like, here's the mic, and what you got to say. To me, that's what I know hip hop to be. That's the very best of SOLHOT. That's Black, liberation.
And Rhapsody post. So your daughter wrote her a note, and Rhapsody posted the note that your daughter wrote her on her Instagram.
She did.
Yeah, that's what's so that is what's on our website. We're like, yeah, this is this is,
And that's movement. That is how it resounds. That's what I mean. Like, and what memory, what that is going to mean for my daughter, I don't know. And that to me is the most exciting part. But I trust she gonna tell me, because her throat chakra has always been very clear, as it was that night of the concert, okay? As it will be. But that gave her something to move on, to move with, to remember. Because I think that's how change works. It's quantum like that,
Can you speak a bit more about, you were talking about your process. Can you speak a bit more about your process of how you were writing?
That first book, Black Girlhood Celebration?
I'll say I guess it would be different. Maybe tell us about the second book.
Yeah, it's different. My process, that's what I was a mom with a 1-year-old during Black Girlhood Celebration. I had no fancy rituals. I had when she went to sleep, that was when my house was quiet. And I just, that's when I could get it done. And then Here Are Truths, the second book, that process was different because that book had more weight on it. So the first book was, again, The Labor of Love. And, I actually got some pushback from that book professionally because it was like, oh, what press is it on? And who told you can bring in the personal? And, why'd you write it like that? And, you're going up for tenure, and they have this in the academy, this thing known as, you got to have the book that gets you tenure. And how'd you write that book so fast? And, whatever. And so the second book had a lot more of that energy into it because by that time I had been a professor for 7 years. And so, you incorporate people's feedback. It is received, and not all the reception motivates some. And I feel like in the second book, you can, it's a more traditional text format. I made some choices with that book. Still very important. I was theorizing some of the ideas that we learned by doing SOLHOT after, I think about that point, probably like 7 years. And so I wanted to make a case for the creative potential of what we were doing, because I think that's so often missed. A lot of folks really get into the critique of things, but SOLHOT is a creative energy. We are making, when you in conversation with Black girls, like I've been, like we've made stuff that you don't even have a name for. And I mean academics, I mean theorists, I mean people just haven't seen it yet, or they haven't recognized it yet. And so that's what that book was getting to. Like, y'all can't even, begin to sort of understand unless you really sit with the people who've been sitting with Black girls and listening to what we have made artistically, sonically. We were making music a long time in SOLHOT. And again, it's like, let's listen for between the lyrics. Let's listen to what they are saying, how they are feeling. And so much of that is what Here Are Truth is about. I still love the book, but it's quite different than the first one.
Can you talk to us about that a little bit? Because that, I feel, is such an important topic. Like when I doing social justice, I am at tables with a lot of academics. And they're very serious academics. They're very serious about Black liberation. Yeah. Can you talk about the life, if you will, of being an academic, but also being of the culture?
So let's see. I can only tell you how I've done it. And for me, I went to grad school. I always knew I wanted to go to grad school. Again, a lot of that for me, I think, is really in my family being in the position where I could. it was such a new kind of different experience that I knew I was going for more than myself, and that it was important. And so when I got the BA, the family was proud and it was like, oh, this is amazing. And then I got to grad school and I had a hard time. And my dad was like, you know what? You can come home. Like, no, that don't sound cool at all. And so he was like, you got the first degree for us. And, whatever you do after that, that's for you because we don't need all that. And so it was an opportunity, a good moment for me to be like, do I really want this? Enough of carrying, as honorable as it was, the PhD required something different, and it would have to be like out of me to do it. And so I stayed, and then I got a postdoc year right after I got the PhD, and the postdoc year was critical. It was a postdoc in Black Studies. I was able to return to the University of Illinois where I went to undergrad, which was significant to me at the time. But as a postdoc, I was like, okay, I got to unlearn some of the stuff I picked up because it wasn't always healthy and it was not in service to what I wanted to do. And I took that postdoc year to really unlearn a lot of what it meant to be academic to a lot of people outside of myself. And I dropped it and I said, if I'm going to stay in the academy, like I was thinking Nina Simone, my way. And my way is going to be through Black Girlhood Celebration. It was going to be in community. I'm making it. I'm writing it as I'm making it. All of my questions that I tend to pursue in my writing come through SOLHOT. Like, what are we grappling with? What's important to us? What do we know? What do we want to say? And that's how I know how to be in the academy. That's what I did. And I always heard my dad, though, that was a kind of freedom because even as I was doing it, I could hear his voice. He's like, you can always come home. And thankfully, I am from that kind of place, from that kind of family I mentioned earlier, where I knew that was true and I was going to be all right. But, it was like, what is my walk of being a professor going to look like? And for me, that meant, doing this collective work, keeping who I am close, to me and wanted to explore those things to the ends of it with people who, are real like yourself, who are in community. I should also mention too, when I was in Detroit, I was doing some Detroit summer work and working with Grace Lee Boggs. I mean, that don't leave you ever. And so everybody who does SOLHOT knows Grace Lee Boggs and they know Detroit Summer because I wouldn't have thought something like SOLHOT was possible if it weren't for my experience doing Detroit Summer. So with so many things. And I was just doing it, not without some struggle, of course, but just completely committed. And that when you work with young people, whatever courage perhaps maybe you were lacking, they give it to you. That's what I'm saying, how the movement travels is quantum. And so, I started reconnecting with folks just maybe when I was like, maybe, I don't know. Here comes a good word from ill. Here comes a good word. I got 7th graders now seeing me at the Meyer, like when it's so hot, it's so hot. And then it's like, I got that, but that was motivation that kept me going. And, that's why I'm here today. So.
Well, I got a couple more questions before I turn it over to the crew. So 2 things you said. One, I want to know, talk to us about how you got your PhD. And what I mean by that is I have a cousin. Mm-hmm. It took him 15 years to get his PhD. Mm-hmm. His PhD, he did his thesis that he wrote, which is a book, was about the connection between apartheid and in South Africa and what African Americans here face. And he traveled to South Africa, lived there to like do research and yada yada yada. He got married, had a family, and so getting a PhD is more than a notion. So I want, and a lot of people are working on their PhD. A lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are trying to get through it. I want to understand, how you were able to get through it and to get your PhD. That's my first question. Then the other question I want to ask is to ask you to tell us a bit more about your Detroit summer experience.
Oh my goodness, how I got through it. That's so many things got me through the doctoral program. I'm like always, my homegirls for sure. Keep some homegirls. Because we got each other through it. I got a shout out too. I mean, I'm so glad. It was like I literally tried to get out of my doctoral program the first year, but oh goodness, like your question, like things make sense sometimes 15 years later. So don't worry it to make sense now, as long as you knew you staying true to what's yours and telling a story that's yours to tell. Because I gotta say that, I was like, man, I was having a real tough time in my classes because, it was like I wasn't reading what I wanted to read. The people was, it was bad. And I saw this flyer saying, do you want to be in this play? It's a Black play called The Blackness Blues. And now I had always done theater. I mean, I was always interested in political poetry, Black arts movement. That was my thing. That's how I came to sort of value a lot of the ideas that I still continue to study is through Black poets, Black artists, Black playwrights. And so I said, I've been doing theater, always did theater. Yes, I want to try out for this play called The Blackness Blues. Can I tell you who that playwright was?
Who?
Dominique Morisseau.
So, wow.
Dominique was an undergrad. When I was in grad school, Piper, this is me. And I show up like to this undergrad's audition. And, if you're in a doctoral program, it's supposed to be this hierarchy or whatever. It matters not. I was trying to save my life, because it was so horrible. And Dominique puts on this audition and I watched her then. Then at that time, it was like over 100 people showed up for this audition. I think it was like 3 characters was the original script. That's when I learned about Cass Tech and Renaissance, because there was like all Detroit undergrad, U of M, and I was just sitting here. And so then she posts the cast list and I was like, she's amazing. I want to be a part of this. But the play had like 3 roles. She puts up the cast list. Okay, now she has rewritten the play. It is now like 30 people in this thing. She assigns me the role of voiceover or something. I was like, anything to be in this with you. Like, watched her work then. Being in that cast, being in the shows and the subsequent, I mean, Dominique Morisseau saved my life. Like, I have told her that before. She knows that. She absolutely got me through my doctoral program. And so it was like experiences like that, where after you come face to face with a particular kind of creative power, it just emboldens you to keep going in whatever, your own walk is. And so that's one of my top experiences of my doctoral program, along with doing work in Detroit summer. So like, how could I not? I'm like interested in political organizing. I'm learning the theories in my political science class. For me, poli-sci was always the thing, because I'm always just fascinated by how power works, and not the power, traditional power, but like, the power we make when me and you link, the power we make when when you organizing my daughter and she's doing graffiti as my other kid, like interested in that kind of power. And I don't know, I believe they must have came and did a presentation at the university, some aspect of Detroit summer. But anyway, I went out and it was the bike shop back then, and it was the potlucks with Shay. And I believe that's where I met Il the first time. And it was literally like, we were, it was other folks. It was real informal, but it was like that philosophical work that you could do. Like, that's what got me excited. That was the real teaching and learning, like that I was after. And it was in that space. And it was like, to me, when I think back on it and I remember, it was like lessons on how to make a revolution. That's why when I started SOLHOT, that's what I was pitching to people. because after doing Detroit Summer, I knew it was possible. And it's like, guess what? You know, you need maybe some likely or unlikely materials. You need some bikes as a reason to get together. You need some food that we can all contribute to. And you need some serious study with some of the dopest, realest people ever. And that's what I remember about it, as well as learning the city a little bit. One more shout out to the city of Detroit, because my aunt and uncle lived to Detroit. So when I said they migrated from Kentucky, right? I said and they came to Detroit. Now they were the only ones out of the Carey family that came to Detroit. But they came to work, car factory stuff, automobile factory stuff. That was my Aunt Dottie and Uncle Jack. And they never had any biological children of their own. But I grew up going to the block parties, coming to their house for family reunions over the summer. And in grad school, I was out here for 3 years struggling. And I was like, my mom was like, did you go see Aunt Dottie yet? And the academy try to separate you from people who love you in some weird, strange ways, or you think you got to do that to become whoever, whatever. It's like, nope, nope, nope. And so after 3 years, it's like, no matter how much reading I had to do that weekend, I'm going to see Aunt Dottie and Uncle Jack. And I mean, of course, it was like, they took me to Hartford Memorial. That's the church they belong to. I mean, they had
I grew up in that church.
Pastor Adams, Charles Adams.
Isn't he amazing?
Look, all I can tell you is when you ask me how I got through, I know Hartford Memorial prayed over your girl. And I know that the whole entire congregation, I know my Aunt Dottie had the block on top of it. So by the time I left for my weekend visit, she like, all right, so,
that's so cool.
I'm good. I am good. I am great. I am well loved.
That's awesome. Like I that church definitely gave me a view of what Black church was like. Man, Dr. Charles Adams is special because like his balance of academia and the study of the Bible and how he like balances the two with his message is just unreal, so that's cool you got to experience that. Like I think that's super awesome.
I sure did. And they are part of my story in terms of how I got through my doctoral program. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Wow. Well, I don't know. So Brittany, do you have some questions for Dr. Brown?
Yeah. I hope it's not too personal, but I mean, I think it's super cool that you've experienced like both sides of the college experience. So with your work now and even before like now, could you kind of detail to us like what it was like for you to be on the other side? And like, my mom taught high school and she taught British literature and African American world studies, but I only saw that from like a high school level. Like, can you kind of detail to us what it's like to be like on this other side and being on a college campus and like what some of those advantages are for you personally?
Yeah. And please let me know if this is the direction you wanted me to go in, but this is my first position as an administrator. And I got to tell you, like, it's very exciting to be able to be in a position now where I'm sitting at the table with, again, just some really dope, amazing women. Dr. Lomax, who was founder of the Feminist Wire, Christy Dotson. And we are literally like April Baker Bell dreaming the curriculum, together. And it's, if you remember, like being on the other side, like I didn't like that. These are the courses I didn't want to take, to now being in the position where it's like I get to dream in conversation with other amazing folks, like what the curriculum will be. It's amazing. It's a dream. I'm so glad to be here. And I think about all the great and the best teachers that I've had. And like, let's build from that place. Let's pour from these commitments. let's think about the scholars who inspired us. Let's create anew. We don't have to do it the same old way. And, because of who we are individually and together, we insist that we don't do it in the ways that are harmful. I mean, at least that's not the intention. And so it's like, let's grow this thing. And that just, I mean, I'm so glad to be here right now with the folks that I'm working with. That's for sure.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
And my only other question for you is what are your thoughts on the current state of women in hip hop?
So
yin and yang, to be fair.
Right.
Good question.
I mean, I can only I just have to be, those questions can be hard because it can be a general, sweep. But I can tell you about I'm listening to still 90s hip hop. Like, if I had to be honest, I'm not listening to much hip hop these days. I'm listening to a lot of who's in my look, I'm listening to CDs, so that already tells you something.
That's
right
awesome. That's cool.
I'm still I play vinyl daily, which still tells you something right there. So I'm not streaming music. It's a concept that I'm not totally comfortable listening to music like that. If I'm
so
honest.
cool.
And so that influences then who I am listening to. I'm still on social media, and so I do Instagram, which is, so I'm following Cardi B's Instagram.
How's that going?
That's always entertaining. I love the post with Culture, her daughter. I love.
Isn't she cute?
Yeah, so that, I know, that, and then also one of my former students, Cecily Bowen, has a new podcast out called Purse First, I think it is.
Okay.
And she just did an interview with Baby Mother, who I also, I mean, oh my goodness, Baby Mother.
That's fire. I love her.
Now, my other friend Jill turned me on to Baby Mother's music, but that was the first conversation I heard with her, and I so appreciate everything she brings to hip hop.
Yes.
And then if I have to think about who do I listen, the artist I listen to the most consistently, it would be No Name. I mean, No Name is a genius.
Shout out to Chicago, right?
Right. Yeah. Look, Room 33. Look,
all that, man.
Telephone Rainforest just came out. So I it's I think we, that's what I enjoy. That's what I can say.
It's a huge diversity, right?
If I'm escaping your question, probably, but I guess I also I also gotta say too, shout out, Mother Nature bars with a Z. I mean, those are part of the tribe, as Piper said. So it's my dear hearts who are growing me, who I'm learning from. I was their professor, and I'm learning from them. Their music, I'm still listening to their music, and they have dropped 4 or 5 projects, and I'm still in love with the first things that I've ever heard from them. So that's how I enjoy hip hop. I gotta tell you, my daughter, right? I mean, she was I think she likes Young NBA. Is that a rapper? Young.
Yeah, it is. Young NBA
so
boy.
I'm saying I'm not up on the latest necessarily to speak on the entire state, but I can tell you that No Name is genius. I can tell you I love Baby Mother. Baby Mother is genius, and I can certainly appreciate Cardi.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I feel as if we talk about hip hop a lot, but we also talk about the use of technology a lot, like you heard Gyra talk. And it's really kind of cool and humbling to hear you say how you are listening to music and that you recognize it. It's intentional that you're listening to CDs, you're not streaming, and you're really enjoying vinyl still. I think all of it is needed. I feel like you in order for you to study music and to appreciate music, you have to understand the way that it was delivered in that certain time frame. Like, I just think it connects you with it. So I think that's super dope. And like, yeah, like I feel the same way in a lot of ways. Like, I feel like there's a lot of women in hip hop right now. And it's super diverse. Like, I listen to everything, you know. I don't, you know, I always say like someone's lying, you know, because not every woman can have the best, like bad vagina. Like, someone in hip hop has to be lying. Like, so the point I'm getting at is I would, some of my favorite, you know, MCs, you know, if I just envision them talking about other things, but I don't hold that against them because that's not what they want to do. But when I want to hear that, yes, I love No Name. Like, I feel like she is a true Chicagoan. She puts the studying that she does into her music, but she does it in a very unique way. She infuses jazz. She infuses so much, you know. So yeah, I love it all. So I thank you for your answer, if anything.
Oh, I thank you. You want to put me on to somebody? I love a good recommendation.
Chelsea Reject. She's from Brooklyn.
Okay.
She hasn't released a project probably since like 2015. But I promise you, it's timeless. Like, you won't even think about like when she made it. Like, she's so dope. Like, she has 2 tapes. So I like both of them.
Okay. Thank you. We'll take a listen.
And Brittany, you got something coming or no?
Yeah, when you start singing and Deja got a beat for us, yes.
Brittany is a writer and an MC.
No, I'm not. I'm Issa Rae. Y'all know how Issa Rae be like rapping in the mirror?
Yes.
That's as far as
Rae.
Yes. Brittany, you literally recited a rap song for me. What are you talking about?
Brittany.
She's holding back, y'all. She is holding back.
I believe
that's Piper holding back. Piper taking singing lessons. She holding us up.
Nah, friend, don't deflect.
Y'all trying to call me out.
Nah, Brittany trying to deflect.
Chill, Deja. But yeah, Dr. Ruth, it's super cool having somebody on that can talk hip hop. Like, we love hip hop,
of course,
so much.
I mean, you might be my favorite rapper. Let me find out.
Yeah, you silly. You silly. But yeah.
Well, Brittany did curate our the mixtape we do, and we got to get something from you for the mixtape, Dr. Ruth.
Yeah,
for
sure.
And I don't know, Deja, did you have any questions?
No, I've been really enjoying this interview. I don't have any questions. I just wanted to thank you for your work. I grew up in Ann Arbor public schools, and like you, Piper, I just didn't, feel comfortable in my Black skin there, because just certain things that are normal to us, they don't understand and they can't comprehend either. So I'm really looking forward to reading this book and feeling seen the way Piper did. So thank you for your book. I'm humbled and I really appreciate your existence. Thank you for staying true to yourself as well.
Oh yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. And you do loops. I mean, shout out the SOLHOT. So our band is We Levitate, and a DJ is Blair Smith, and We Levitate. We got 4 DJs, 4 band people, 4 writers, 4 songwriters. But her artist name is Love and Loops, and she does loops. And when you talked about your project up front, I was thinking about putting you guys in conversation and connection.
Oh yes, I love that. I would love that. I would love to work with more women, because men just do too much. Yeah, I'd love to.
Can you share with us? Because I mean, this is something that I'm working through. Like, what is how do you see the band and everything working? Like, during this COVID period.
I was just talking to Jessica Robinson. She's in the band too, and we just got off the phone Friday night. And it's been tough, like, especially when you studio with folks. It's such an intimate experience. And then let's see, one of us is in Chicago, 2 of us are in Champaign, and then I moved here. And again, I just told you, like, my preferred method of listening. So the tech, it has a different kind of feel to it. And It's hard. It's really hard. We have not made music together since the pandemic. I mean, I've been deep in my grief as well. A lot has happened. Many reasons why we haven't. But it doesn't, it's hard to do, and it doesn't quite fit the way it used to. I mean, I trust us to find a way, but we have not yet found it, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm in that same thing because we have the all woman band, but our band has gone through so many iterations. And initially it was like a band, but then after that it was more like, okay, we got this kind of core, and then who can we get to play this instrument or that instrument if this person isn't available. And then we haven't done anything. Like, truth be told, it feels like, and I feel like so a year ago we had our annual Women in Hip Hop Showcase.
Yeah.
Right. Charles H. Wright. And so it's all woman band, and different MCs and musicians go over it, right? And so literally a year ago, I remember being on the stage, and it was so beautiful. The performance, it was just amazing. And I remember saying, this is so beautiful. It feels like the world is going to end tomorrow. And literally, COVID was like the next day. Because I was like, it was one of those moments when it was like, as a Black person, you be afraid to be too happy. You're like, it could all end.
Yes.
I'm screaming at being afraid to be too happy.
It was that feeling. I had that feeling. I was like, everything is so perfect. Everything is so good. This is so great. I was like, it feels like the world might end tomorrow. And literally it was COVID the next day. And I was like, why did I say that?
Wow. Piper, you know how powerful you are. You know, you speak it. There it is. There it goes.
I was like, wow. So we haven't done anything like during the pandemic. However, about in January, I contacted our drummer.
Okay.
And so I've been working on music with her, meaning supporting her to do her music.
Yeah, exactly.
And so instead of us doing the band, because it's just difficult for everyone. She's just been creating music, and then we've been in the studio trying to help her get that music out of her. And so right now she has one song, and but we've got like some kind of stems to make 6 songs.
Yes.
And so we recorded enough to do 6 songs, but she's completed 1 song. And so we're gonna start with that 1 song, and then we'll probably like work on each song like 1 per month. But our process is we do have an office and a music studio and rehearsal space inside of Submerge, which is the Techno Museum.
Okay.
And so we have access to that. So we've been recording there, and rehearsals start on Tuesday. So what I'm gonna do is at the end of the month, next month, well, March, we're gonna do a showcase, and instead of a 2-hour showcase with the band, she's gonna do about 25 minutes.
Nice. Yes.
And initially I wanted her to do it like by herself, but she found some musicians to do some different things, and basically everybody made the music like separately, because of COVID.
Right. Yep.
And then one of the musicians can't come into the country too much because they're in Canada, and it's a whole thing trying to come in and out the country.
Yeah.
And so, but the music sounds great. And so what we'll do is she's got 2 musicians that she's gonna perform live with. But live means like we'll record it
Yes.
and then we'll stream it. And so yeah, we just trying to figure out how to do things socially distance. I mean, part of the risk too is like, I mean, even with this podcast, like normally we do this podcast in an actual physical studio. That is, Detroit is different.
Okay.
You know, we haven't been doing it just to like stay safe and keep everybody safe. Just because, you know, trying to be mindful about contact.
Absolutely.
You know, and so yeah, it's a whole thing. Like just trying to think about how to do projects together, trying to think about how do we do shows, you know, how like we don't even have a plan for that yet. We still trying to figure out what is going on.
I trust you to figure it out. I know you will. I know you will. And I think, you know, the thing about it is I can say we're not making music, but we still making music. It's just, it's not the same anymore. I mean, as you was telling the story, I was thinking about, right, we probably each write separately lyrics, but certainly like this time, everything that has happened, like my sound has completely changed. Like, I know this. I was in conversation with Blair. I was putting together. I mean, yeah, and I even like the sound of my voice. I say grief can change the shape of your face. It can change the sound of your voice. And so I'm also getting to know like what this sound is, and again, the music I'm listening to has completely changed. So what I have to pull from when we do get back together, you know, who knows? I don't know what the sound is going to be after this for us, the collective sound, for your band, for my band, you know, but I think it's some new and old vibes going on that is going to make for music that we need to continue healing and growing and living and being.
Yeah, hopefully we could do stuff together, whatever
And
that
you
looks like.
know, I want to, all of us on the track right now. Yes.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
absolutely cannot wait, Piper, to be, you know, in like organizing community with you, making some stuff together creatively, community wise. This is just
Okay, well, we
y'all could put on a festival like once this COVID stuff clears out, like a real cool festival, and it could be where y'all bands are headlining, and it's just that could be crazy.
Okay, all right. We speaking a lot of stuff into his
right.
Yeah, come on, Brittany, with the ideas.
Yes, with the vision. I love it. I love it. I love it. And then yeah, I mean, why not, Piper?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with it. I mean, and I'm just so excited about, you know, I'm also excited about the work that you're doing here in Michigan, like that.
Yes.
Michigan, the Michigan State young folks get a chance to experience, you know, this new vision for how their culture is going to be shared and
Radically
learned.
shifted, radically shifted. The new department of AAAS is here. Dr. Tamora Lomax is amazing. We just met, you know, this year under such high stakes. Can you imagine like dreaming with someone? Of course, I knew her work, but this was like our first real conversation now with colleagues, and we had this really important work together. And the more we talk, I mean, it's just meant to be. The folks in the college have received us well. Everyone is aware of the significance of an African Studies department at this time where we are, and we take that with full responsibility. And again, we bring in all the commitments that we've already shown and proven to the table, and in conversation, you know, with folks who are here. So in my short time, I've had amazing conversations with some dope students, and they so ready. And then once they, you know, get a glimpse of it, like they gonna breathe the life into it that's needed. And we building something that is, you know, certainly gonna outlast this moment. We making something that is desperately needed now and will again, you know, be around for generations. So I'm excited to be at MSU and build the new department. If you are somehow affiliated with MSU, please check out our website. That is where all of the changes, we announced them first, everything we have going on. Speaking of music, we each did our sonic introductions, and I wouldn't even have been able to conceptualize that project if it weren't for being in We Levitate. So that's really important. But yeah, come see about us in AAAS at MSU. We doing big things.
Can you say out what the AAA is again?
AAAS, so we are the Department of African American and African Studies, and our website is aas.msu.edu.
Thank you for that. Oh, and give us all your socials.
I'm not really on, let's see. We will be hiring soon to create socials for the new department.
Nice.
Yes, so that is to come, because all of that has to be created, and we're really excited. This is like, you hear it here first on the podcast, even before it comes out on our socials. Right now, we're really using that website. And then you can catch the work of SOLHOT on Instagram is pretty much the platform that we use the most. And that's SOLHOT, We Levitate, WELEBITATE on Instagram. We also have a SOLHOT.com website.
That's so awesome.
So wait, Dr. Ruth.
Yes.
Are you guys, as far as the curriculum goes, like, what all are you guys infusing inside the curriculum? Have you come up with, or can you not talk about that right now?
It's currently moving through faculty governance.
Okay, all right, I got you.
Yeah,
I'm
but
sorry.
it's exciting. What I can tell you is that, we, of course, will stay true to the things that have always been a part of AAAS, which is, thinking diasporically, thinking transnationally. We know Black folks everywhere. We are giving attention to creative expression, communities in action, and then Black cultures and institutions. In terms of the work I do with Black girlhood, that is in the curriculum, you will see that. And then our graduate program is organized around 3 themes, and that is Black girlhood studies, Black speculative ecologies, and Black cultures and institutions.
Wow, that's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
We talk about this all the time. We gotta have curriculums. We gotta be the ones that are creating curriculums. And this is the perfect way to end Black History Month tonight. I wish I had a little champagne. That's so dope that you write curriculums, sis. That's so dope.
Curriculum, histories, futures, beyond, ancient, fast forward. I mean, all of that. And it's also the co-curricular, because this is just like the first iteration. And, that's the hip hop thing to do, which is to remix it. And I trust folks that, they will receive well the first iteration of our offering. And then again, in community, with so many different kinds of communities, will grow all the curriculums needed for real learning and teaching to happen. That's the goal.
Very dope. Cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
And okay, so I'm like, first of all, gratitude, and I'm feeling so full right now. Like, I'm just on cloud 9. And I'm just like, I'm excited about all this work that y'all are doing. I can already see how it's gonna be impacting people. So I got goosebumps.
Yes. Thank you.
And then also too, like, name your 2 books and where folks can purchase them.
Let's see. You can get Black Girlhood Celebration toward a hip hop feminist pedagogy direct from the peterlang.com. That's www.peterlang.com, or wherever you get, used copies from. I encourage that. And then the second book is Here Are Truths, The Creative Potential of Black Girlhood. And you can get this book from the University of Illinois Press website or wherever you like to buy your new or used copies.
Wow, thank you for that. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna be doing a reading circle starting this month, and so we're gonna start with our book because we're trying to sell these books.
Yes.
But,
come on with the forward.
Yeah. Okay. And so we're gonna do our book this month, but I definitely want to do your book. So I'm gonna see when we'll do how long it takes to do this book. I'm thinking we'll do a month, but if it takes longer, you know, I'm not sure. But I think I definitely want to do your book because the book is so powerful. Like I want to, you know, do a circle around it just because it inspired me so much. I think so many people can relate to it, and so much stuff will make so much sense when people read this book. Trust me. Like trust me. Yeah, so but I don't know if you want to leave us with any closing words.
Well, I believe one of the most political, radical acts you can do is, you know, say, I love you out loud to another Black woman. And Piper, I love you so much. I just want to thank you for all of the work that you do with people all over the city. I appreciate your energy. I appreciate every good word you share on the social medias, through the podcast. I don't know how you do what you do, but I just ask that all those things that contribute to the influence and your, you know, outrageous, audacious, dope frequency just continue to grow you, and that, you know, your deepest heart's desires are met in only the ways that you can see them and most appreciate. I thank you for being who you are, and I certainly have enjoyed this conversation. I trust that this is just the beginning, and that this is just the beginning. So thank you, Piper. I love you.
Wow. Well, first of all, gratitude for all of that I received. And I can tell you went to Hartford. That was a strong prayer right there. Thank you. I received.
Was I praying? Okay.
No, you know, yeah, I was. No, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. And I want to thank you, you know, and all of this brilliance that you bring, and just gratitude for taking all of what you study and transforming it into, I'm gonna say, layman's terms, so that people like us can have access to it and can understand, you know, the concepts that you get a chance to dissect. You know, some of that academic language would prevent some of us from being able to you know, even being able to think in these ways. And so just thank you for that magic that you bring. And also, you know, just still, and being a mother and just making that time to, you know, invest in these humans that are going to be, you know, transforming our world, you know. And all you do for all the students that you've been doing things for, like wherever they are in the world, you know, however they're presenting in the world and doing great things in the world, like thank you for pouring into them and these next students that are coming through, you know, making their experience different at Michigan State than it was for other students, you know. So just thank you for all of that, and just this music that you continue to do that is experimental and fun. And you know, just what you share creatively. So just much gratitude to you, and I love you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So I don't know if let's see, Jaira, you got any words you want to leave us with?
I just want everyone to, you know, follow your dreams and follow your heart, but whichever it may be, just make sure you follow it and try not to deter yourself from people telling you otherwise.
Ashe. And what about you, Deja? You want to leave us with any words?
I don't think I have any words. Just same as Gyra. Just everybody stay true to yourselves.
Okay, that's powerful. And affirmation.
Mhm.
And what about you, Brittany? You want to leave us with anything?
Nothing too heavy. Just had a good time with you guys tonight. It was nice meeting you, Dr. Ruth.
Nice
And
meeting you.
yes, and happy Women's Month, and you guys have a good week.
All right, awesome. Well, this has been great. So once again, you want to just give so much gratitude and love to Dr. Ruth Nicole Brown, who, as you have heard on this podcast, is just a multidimensional, phenomenal woman, Black woman, mother, creator, musician, scholar, author, and just activist. Oh man, so many things. And just gratitude. But check her out, get her books, please. Your life will change, trust me. And yeah, we look forward to seeing more great things from you. And this has been the Piper Carter podcast. We want you to encourage you to keep listening. Please share, like, subscribe. You can follow us on our socials. If you go on to Instagram, we are pc.podcast, as well as on Facebook. And join us in conversation in our Facebook group, Piper Carter Podcast. And you can also check us out on the DetroitIsDifferent.net website with all of the other great podcasts. And this has been really fruitful for me. I feel really good. So we will see you next
Her check was
week.
short, highlights cut off. It's safe to say she's stressing. I took the day off for a moment just like this. Our paths were bound to cross. No coincidence. Together, too silent in love, and a struggle is dark. We ain't solve it. We prisms in a bubble, but we the light producers. Yeah, we black girls from the future. True. Every word in this song's about you.
I said it's hard to be a black girl, and I just wanna do my thing. I just wanna change the game for you. Said I wanna give this brain to you. Let my thoughts speak, let your mind ooze, ooh. And don't it feel good?
My body remembers where I've been. I carry my history and my walk, live my truths through dance, tell my story with each opening and closing of my thighs. Voice my yearnings with my eyes, so that an elongated glance becomes a selective request that only those attentive looking to join me recognize.
Remember to like, share, subscribe, and always listen on Stitcher, Google Play, Apple Store, and Spotify.